Hello, brother. My name is Mitchell T. Palmer at Gentleman Barber. I'm here in the library at the executive room of Gentleman Barber. And welcome back. I appreciate you coming in. I am on step 2 now of We Live by a Code. Now, this is something that I have been learning through a series of classes, a series of disciplines and philosophies that I have been studying for about a year now. I've come to this point where it is my part to complete one of my assignments, to teach something we call in the organization the formula. Okay? Now, the organization is Wake Up Warrior. You've seen some of the links. Right now, they are offering through tomorrow, Tuesday, November 30th, a $1 14-day trial to try out some of these phenomenal tools that, again, in about that year's time that I've been spending studying under my mentor within the Warrior organization, have changed the way I look at life, have changed how I address things, how I approach life, business, marriage, clients, life in general. And it's made a huge impact on me. So if you're at all interested, please look for one of those links. I'll try and add a link to that after in the comments section here. But today what we're going to do is we're going to discuss, last week we discussed part of the code, step 1 of 4, which is to be real. And be real simply just focuses on stop lying. The word real I associate with real facts. Okay? If you're dealing in real facts, you can't be lying. You got to be telling the truth to be dealing in facts. We're not dealing with possibilities. We're not dealing with probabilities. We're dealing with actual verifiable facts when we talk about being real. Now, today we are going to move into a new step, and that is step number 2, which is to get raw. Be real was last week. Get raw is the subject for today. Now, when we talk about getting raw, we're discussing feelings. And it's important to understand that if you exist, which I'm sure you do, or you wouldn't be watching this, then you feel. So, as this image illustrates, you exist, as such, you feel. How do you express those feelings? This is one of the more important aspects. And this is where the code, and more specifically, the subject of getting raw with your feelings, comes into play. Now, should you express those feelings? I'm going to say that I address this more toward men, because when I joined Warrior, it taught men how to address things from a man's perspective. So for those of you out there, Warrior is not only for men. Warrior does have modules and an opportunity for women as well. So if you're a woman and you're looking at this, click that link, try the 14-day trial. It costs you $1. But when we're talking about men, there is an age-old concept where men are not supposed to feel. Men should not express those feelings. If you express feelings such as anger, emotions like fear or sorrow, well, then you're not really a real man, and you know, some people might even call you a pussy. Well, my question to them is, are you being real, and are you getting raw with your emotions and your feelings? Let's move along here. Expressing feelings makes you weak is, generally speaking, something that's been accepted in the world we live in, unfortunately, at early ages. Little boys, young men, even grown men are taught not to cry. It makes you weak. Don't be a wimp. But logic tells us that if we exist, we have feelings. And what are feelings? Well, simply put, feelings are described with one word. Now, I've made a short list here. It's not extensive. We could certainly make a list of hundreds of words if we were to want to bore you with that. But Feelings are one word. A lot of times you ask people how they feel and they tell you a whole paragraph about how they feel. Within the confines of living by the code, as I am passing on to you as one of my assignments, we don't feel an entire paragraph. We feel one word, and in this case, some of those words or examples of them are things like anger, rage, happiness, irritation, gratitude, and as I pointed out, there could be a lot bigger list. Now, when we deal with that guy who wants to talk about a paragraph, when you ask him how he's feeling, what he's actually doing is he is describing the feeling, which we've discovered is one word. He is describing those feelings with many words, maybe a sentence, maybe two, maybe even a paragraph or more. So that we call emotions. The emotions behind the feelings, or that give more descriptors to the feeling. One word feeling, described in many words, we're going to refer to as an emotion for our purposes today. Now, what cause these feelings described by those emotions? Well, that is a thing called a trigger, or triggers. And to define triggers, I've put a short condensed list here as well. Again, all of these things could be extrapolated. We could make a longer list. We could get really anal retentive about this, but we're not going to, because I'm trying to keep this thing short. So we go back here to the drawing tablet. Triggers, I am going to define them as moments, things, actions, or perhaps events, right? And when we are triggered by something that makes us feel a feeling that can then be described in large paragraphs, maybe even chapters, with emotions, those triggers, it is necessary, if we're going to live by the code and get raw, it is necessary for us to investigate, to discover why we were triggered. You know, the big why. Why did this trigger me? Why did this event, why did this moment, maybe somebody said something to you, maybe your wife said something that you took in the wrong way and it triggered you to feel a little bit of anger or rage toward her because you had something going on. Anyway, we're going to delve into this just a bit further. When we talk about why, it is important to discover why, because the trigger is nothing more than a perspective, or to put it in more plain terms like my mentor does, your story. What is the story you are telling yourself to allow this trigger to lead to the feelings and emotions that you are experiencing? Logically, a trigger or your story will lead you to the feelings and emotions. Unless you get raw, you cannot understand nor address the situation. Now, how many times have we talked in this little movie right here about the fact that if you're a man, you're not supposed to feel things, especially not fear or sorrow, sadness. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to run away like how's the phrase go? Like a little girl. You're not supposed to cry like a little baby. Well, the trouble with that is that it is very similar to the physical experience of becoming constipated, right? You can't put food in, and never evacuate any of that food through the natural process your body goes through. You must evacuate the waste that is not assimilated into your body. We know this obviously as constipation. Now, constipation can be mildly inconvenient, or constipation can become impaction, and an impacted colon can become an extremely painful, long, arduous process to get through, sometimes even leading to a surgical procedure to clear the impacted colon, because we don't release the waste from the nutrients we take in a proper way. Now, if we don't release emotions by getting raw and realizing that we exist, as such, we feel, and those feelings need to be investigated. The triggers that lead to feelings that are defined by emotions must have a purpose, and we must find a way to focus them in and get them to a point that we can see this situation and address it appropriately. The point here is to unlock a better story or achieve a better solution. Now, as a final step in today's movie, I want to share something with you that was shared with me by my good brother, Guy Dodge, several years ago, when he shared with me a story about a Civil War era general on the side of the Union Army. His name is Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain. And when my brother Guy Dodge shared little detail about Joshua Chamberlain's life, this led me to renting the movie Gettysburg and watching. Jeff Daniels actually plays Joshua Chamberlain in that movie, and he proves himself out to be quite a decent human being. But Joshua Chamberlain seemed to have, back in 1865, had a great capacity and understanding for getting raw with his feelings. And it elicited a comment or a quote that I'm going to share with you today. First of all, I want to talk to you about a work by a Mark A. Pearson. It is a canon titled The Soul of the Lion, The Heart of the Woman, Joshua Chamberlain, and the Battle of Gettysburg. Now, you can see the copyright. I want to make sure to get that footnote in there. These are not my words, but if you follow along with me at the bottom here, you have a quote. General, you have the soul of the lion and the heart of the woman. And that was said by Union Brevet Major General Horatio G. Sickle to Brevet Major General Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain at Quaker Road in Virginia, March 29th, 1865. Now, I submit to you that it is possible to be real and dwell in facts only, and to stop lying, and to also have the opportunity, if we apply the code, to express our feelings in appropriate ways, instead of letting them build up and build up and build up until some horrifying event has to let them explode out in inappropriate ways. If we go back to talking about the code, again, last time in the previous movie we talked about being real, real facts, and stop lying. Today we have discussed getting raw with your feelings. The fact that if you exist, you do feel, and to understand those feelings and be able to follow a pathway of where the feelings come from, describe them with the proper emotions attached, seek out why the trigger led to the story that you're telling yourself, so that you can pick apart and reverse engineer. And when you do release your emotions, you release them in a real and raw way that is more productive and leads to better solutions for you, your life, and your family. Brother, my name is Mitchell T. Palmer. I'm here at Gentleman Barber, and we're going to cover relevant next time. In the meantime, God bless you. God bless America. Be good or don't get caught.